Before we get into it, let me ask you something. Are you totally sure you really understand the Israel-Palestine conflict? Or are you just kind of repeating what your Twitter feed told you last week? Like, did you actually form your opinion? Or did it get uploaded into your brain through memes and hot takes? Think about it. You sure you're not already a little biased right now as you're watching this? Who's the villain? Who's the victim? Who really owns the land? And who exactly are the Palestinians? These aren't easy questions, but guess what? History doesn't care about your feelings. At Naked Logic, we don't do spin. We do receipts, facts, footnotes, stuff your college professor might have accidentally left out. If any of this makes you uncomfortable, maybe the problem's not the facts, but the lens you're looking through. Don't worry, we're not here to cancel your worldview. Just give it a little chiropractic adjustment. So, buckle up, grab your emotional support water bottle, and let's crack open some history. This might sting a little. The word Palestine didn't come from the people living there. It was a Roman insult. Picture this, it's 135 CE. The Romans are super salty after crushing a Jewish revolt. So what do? Rename Judea to Syria Palestina after the Philistines, ancient enemies of the Jews. It's basically a middle finger in Latin. Before that, the region was home to Jewish kingdoms like Israel and Judah. Real dynasties, real temples, real kings, not just Bible stories. Assyrians, Babylonians, Persians, Romans, they all wrote about them. Like this gem from 701 BCE. Assyrian King Sennacherib goes, "I shut Hezekiah up in Jerusalem like a caged bird." That's not from a Marvel script, it's an actual historical tablet. Fast forward to 586 BCE, Babylon's Nebuchadnezzar levels Jerusalem. Even Pharaoh Merneptah from Egypt mentions Israel way back in 1207 BCE. So yeah, the Jews weren't guests, they were the locals. Over the next 1800 years, this little strip of land got passed around like a hot potato. Byzantines, Arabs, Crusaders, Mamluks, Ottomans, the British, everyone wanted a piece. But guess who never left? The Jews. They were in Jerusalem, Hebron, Tiberias, and Safed the entire time. Not always in charge, but even the Quran, yes, the Islamic holy book, backs this up. Surah 521 has Moses telling the Israelites, "Enter the Holy Land, which Allah has assigned to you." That's kind of a mic drop, isn't it? Okay, flash forward to the early 1900s. Under the British Mandate, 1920 to 1948, the term Palestinian was just a label for people living in the area. Jews and Arabs, both. Jews literally called their newspaper the Palestine Post. They had Palestinian passports. There was a Palestine Symphony Orchestra, started by Jews. Meanwhile, a lot of Arab residents didn't even like being called Palestinian. They identified as Syrians, Pan-Arabs, or just Muslims. Arab newspapers at the time didn't say Palestinian people. They said Southern Syria, or Arab Nation. As Arab historian Rashid Khalidi put it, before 1948, Arabs in the region felt more connected to the broader Arab world because Palestinian also referred to Jews. So yeah, the identity thing, pretty recent. Now here's a juicy one. In 2012, Hamas minister Fathi Hamad went on Egyptian TV and said, "Half of the Palestinians are Egyptians, and the other half are Saudis." Come again? This wasn't some Zionist talking point. This was a Hamas official, admitting what no one's supposed to say out loud. Turns out, a lot of modern Palestinians are descended from folks who migrated in during the 19th and 20th centuries, from Egypt, Syria, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia. And while we're here, let's talk about the guy who became the face of the Palestinian cause, Yasser Arafat. He was born in Cairo, raised in Egypt, had Egyptian citizenship. He didn't grow up identifying as Palestinian, not even a little. But when politics needed a symbol, guess what? Boom, Palestinian Arafat was born. It's not that he faked his beliefs, but his identity, that was flexible. The term Palestinian finally got solidified after the Six-Day War in 1967. Israel crushed multiple Arab armies and took back a lot of territory. And Israel didn't even freaking start that conflict. Arab regimes needed a new narrative. So what did they do? Well, they flipped the script. Suddenly, Jews, who had been indigenous, were framed as foreign invaders. The Arabs, who were previously just Arabs, now they were Palestinians, the real locals. It was a political pivot, not a historical truth. Think of it like a rebrand. Arab was Coke Classic. Palestinian was New Coke. But let's talk cold, hard evidence. Roman historians like Tacitus wrote about the Jewish presence. 10th century Arab geographer al-Muqaddasi said Jerusalem was a Jewish city. Mark Twain visited in 1867 and said the land was mostly barren, with Jews still living there among scattered Arab tribes. We've got Jewish coins, scrolls, tombs, literally dug out of the ground. That's not mythology. That's a paper trail you can trip over. So what happened next? Neighboring Arab regimes turned Palestinian nationalism into a political weapon. Instead of helping refugees settle or become citizens, they kept them in camps, sometimes for decades. They needed a crisis to keep pressure on Israel, so they froze the situation. Then there's the UN. Normally, if you're a refugee, you get help from the UNHCR. But Palestinians, they get their own agency, UNRWA. And UNRWA does something wild. It passes refugee status down through generations. So if your granddad fled in 1948, you're still a refugee in 2025. That's not how refugees usually work. Meanwhile, Hamas took over Gaza. Instead of building schools and hospitals, they built tunnels and rockets and stashed them under schools and hospitals. That's bad for Israelis and Palestinians. A lot of today's Palestinians are mistakenly convinced they've always owned the land, that Israel is a colonial project. And if you say otherwise, you're the bad guy. But let's be real for a second. If your family came from Egypt or Syria 90 years ago, how does that make you more indigenous than people whose ancestors lived there for 3,000 years? And if Jews coming home after 2,000 years bugs you, well, my friend, you might not just have a problem with Israel. You might have a problem with Jews, period. Yeah, I said it. Israel is the only Jewish state on earth. One, uno, that's it. It's smaller than New Jersey. Yeah, what? You thought it's massive? It's just not. It's tiny. Meanwhile, there are 22 Arab states and 57 Muslim-majority countries. Many of them, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, are mega crazy rich with empty land for days. But ask them to take in some Palestinian refugees? Yeah, no. But here's a check for Hamas. The goal isn't peace, it's pressure, it's PR. The Jewish connection to the land isn't some modern PR campaign. It's real, ancient, backed by literally thousands of years of history. The modern state of Israel, it's not colonialism. It's the reboot of a people returning home after being massacred for forever. Yes, there's pain. Yes, there's suffering. Yes, real people on both sides are caught in the mess. But peace won't come from lies. It won't come from erasing history. It'll come from truth and clarity. And dare we say it, logic. Look, you don't have to agree with every word of this, but you should be willing to challenge what you've been told. If you're tired of hot takes, echo chambers, and biased nonsense, you're in the right place. This is naked logic. And we've got more uncomfortable truths where that came from. So hit subscribe. Or don't, but either way, think for yourself.